This right here is where you get awesome at using the stress rules that no one talks about so that you can speak English with clarity, with confidence, with impact. So let's do this. Rule number 1, the initials rule. If there are 2 initials, you're going to stress each of those initials exactly the same. But if there are 3 initials, you're going to choose the last initial, and that's where you're going to stress. ID will be equally stressed because there are 2 initials. We're going to stress the final syllable, DIY, do it yourself. And I'm going to squish in rule number 2 in here because there's also an acronyms rule. An example would be NATO, N-A-T-O. We are not saying the letters now because there's 4. Anything more than 3, we just string the letters together and then we say it like it's a word. And we treat it like a noun. So we're going to place the stress rules of a noun onto this new made-up word. So let's do some practice of those rules. Identify which of the letters is going to be stressed, or pronounce the whole word if it's an acronym. AKA, ASAP, AWOL, BA, BO, DIY, DNA, DNR, ESL, ETA, FAQ, FBI, FOMO, FYI, HR, ID, MA, MBA, MD, MIA, NASA, NATO, PDA, PhD, POV, PR, PS, RIP, TBA, TESOL, TMI, VIP, YOLO. Although we've already talked about how nouns typically have the stress in the first syllable, especially for 2-syllable words, so why isn't the word antique pronounced antique? Well, the reason is rule number 3, the French origins stress rule. In English, we use a lot of words from other languages, and in particular, French words are used quite often. Typically, words that originate from French have very specific ends or tails to their words, and that is where we're going to place the stress. So let's get familiar with some of the French suffixes. You can write down or copy this list to help you familiarize yourself with these suffixes. For these words, identify the French suffix, and then place the stress on the suffix. Let's try a couple together. Absentee, acquiesce, adoptee, afternoon, arcade, auctioneer, bachelorette, balloon, billionaire, blockade, boutique, brunette, career, cartoon, cascade, cassette, chauffeur, cigarette, cocoon, commandeer, connoisseur, convalesce, corvette, 'Corvette', 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 'Cor crusade, engineer, entrepreneur, gazette, grandeur, grotesque, kangaroo, kitchenette, lagoon, mystique, opaque, parade, picturesque, pioneer, questionnaire, referee, reminisce, serenade, shampoo, silhouette. And this is your practice break. This is where you get to listen to some elevator music and you have a moment to catch your breath, take a deep one in, press like as you exhale, take another deep breath in, press subscribe if you haven't already done so on your exhale. It's a good break. It's a good break. Let's just get back to the practice. And of course, English wouldn't be English without some exceptions. So here are a list of a few words that we have our French endings and we're still not using the final syllabic stress suffix thing. Rule? Rule. You get it. Make a list of these words. These are just the rule breakers. Accolade, coffee, committee, decade, igloo, marmalade, omelet, palette, pedigree, reindeer, renegade, toffee. And that brings us to rule number 4, the self pronoun rule. If a word includes self or selves in it, we're going to put our stress on that portion of the word. Let's try for ourselves. Really good transition. It's a good transition. Identify the self pronoun and then stress the correct syllable. He fixed the plumbing issue all by himself. She cuts her hair herself. Did you do that by yourself? I'll go by myself today. They can complete it by themselves. We all told ourselves it would work out okay, and it did. It takes care of itself. And that takes us to rule number 5, the streets and roads stress rule. When a phrase includes the words street or road, you'll put the stress on the actual name of the street or road. And I'll throw in rule number 6 right next to it because it makes a lot of sense too. If you have another type of roadway, an avenue, a drive, a circle, a court, the stress goes on the type of roadway, not the name. So the opposite. Let's put them together and test our knowledge and build some skill. Identify the type of roadway and then choose the right word to stress. Birch Court, Elm Drive, Elm Street, Fourth Road, Greenway Circle, Lakeside Crescent, Leary Road, Plum Crescent, Point Avenue, Reed Street, Seaway Drive, Sunset Circle, Winterview Court. And if you happen to want a free download to go along with this video, just to practice along yourself, you can go to the link down below in the description to download this and many other free downloadable resources. In the description, you'll also find lots of other ways to improve your English pronunciation skills and to master English clarity and confidence. And now you might be thinking, okay, I've got these rules, but But what's next? If that's you, you are definitely going to want to watch this mega practice lesson. It's everything together in one singular video. And if your goal is to build habit, then you are not going to want to miss it. Before you do that, press the subscribe button, then head over there and we're going to work together. I'll see you there.